For over 100 years, the Bank of Moundville has been a name clients can trust. The Bank of Moundville is more than just a bank. They're your neighbors, your friends, and your community partners. Their unique approach to financial education has always centered around families. They believe that financially strong homes today lay the foundation for a brighter futures for tomorrow's generation. You can call them today at 205-371-2227. Once again, that is 371-2227 to schedule an appointment to build your financial security. The Bank of Moundville is a member FDIC and an equal housing lender. This is the Stingray Show, and coming up on this edition, we are going to be taking you back in time and talking with a McDonald's All-American and a first-team All-American in the SEC who played for 3 seasons at Mississippi State from 2000 through 2003 and helped them win the SEC championship there in the SEC tournament. He is also known for the 3-point winning shot versus Kentucky there in 2002. Mario Alston, former points power forward for Mississippi State and center, joins us on this edition of the Stingray Show.
Hi, this is Tim Brando with a reminder. Look out, you're about to feel the buzz of Stingray.
This is Stephen Ray, a.k.a. Stingray, coming to you live from Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
I'm Heath Hopkins. I'm here in DeSoto County, Mississippi, right outside of Memphis, Tennessee. You know, Mark, I'm going to put you on the spot. Do you feel that responsibility to pay it forward and give some kid a chance coming up in the ranks, kind of like Tony did for you?
Why do you think I'm talking to Stingray tonight?
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
No, I mean, look, no.
Heath, Stingray, Here's the deal. When you get involved with Texas, it's like getting married to a stripper. and let me explain this. It looks good. It's kind of sexy on the surface. Yeah. But then you get the baggage, you get the drama, you get all that eventually comes with it. And that's what you get with Texas, and that's what the Big 12 learned.
And Heath, any thoughts on our show moving forward?
Hey, with the Stingray Show, if you don't like it, you better learn to love it, because it's the best show going today, baby. Woo!
And with that, we want to welcome you inside another edition of the Stingray Show. Hope all is well with you. And we have a huge guest joining us today. Heath, how are things with you on this Tuesday as we are back to our normal time here on the Stingray Show?
Somewhat normal. Spring break's going on here. So my schedule is all messed up from daylight savings to kids being out of school, but we've had fun. Got to go to the dentist this morning. Not for me, my oldest, getting her wisdom teeth cut out today. So yeah, it's
that'll be rough, dude.
Yeah, no. So I got to deal with that here later this morning, and yeah, so not looking forward to that, but yeah, it's just passage of life. You got to go through all this.
Heath, briefly, I do want to do one National Day of Today before we bring our guest on. Can you tell me who first appears in a video game on March the 10th of 1981?
Pac-Man is already out, so I'm going to guess Miss Pac-Man.
I'm a Mario. Mario first appears in the game Donkey Kong by Nintendo on this day in 1981. So today is National Mario Day. And Heath, it ties in well with our guest because at Mississippi State, he was known as Super Mario.
A lot of people forget, Stephen, that Mario, before Super Mario Brothers, there was just Mario Brothers. No one remembers that game because it wasn't a good game.
Right.
And then they made it into Super Mario. So you're saying Mario first appeared in Donkey Kong, and
In
that's the
nine-
first time we
in,
saw him.
in 1981.
I am 5 years old,
And
getting ready to turn 6 later that year.
that ties in really well with our guest today, and it's only fitting that on National Mario Day, we have former Mississippi State legend in college basketball, Mario Austin. Mario, how are things with you this morning on National Mario Day?
Oh man, that's pretty cool. I didn't even know that. That is pretty cool. I'm good, man. How y'all doing?
We're
Dude,
doing
man,
all right. Mario, do you ever get sick of the Super Mario stuff?
Uh-uh. I think it's cool. I
right.
think it's cool, man. I mean, me personally, it was given to me in high school by by one of my coaches. I think when he gave me that name, it was at one of my defining moments of my career. It was kind of like me coming out of the shell. So I had one of those games where I was just like, it was crazy, and he just said Super Mario, and it stuck, and it's been sticking ever since.
If we're playing Mario Kart, are you going with Mario?
No,
Who are you going
he's too
with?
slow. He's too slow. I'm rolling with Princess, Bowser. Those are the fast dude, and the little dude with the W on his chest with the painter's cap, he's pretty fast too.
Yeah, Wario.
Yeah, Wario. Luigi too. He's another good one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Mario, before we dive into the your career, I do want to ask you: the SEC tournament is about to tip off tomorrow up in Nashville, and Mississippi State is going up against Auburn. Give us your thoughts on the season so far this season for the Bulldogs of Mississippi State.
Man, I think this season right here kind of me and Timmy talked about it. It kind of remind me of my freshman year.
Right.
We had a lot of talent. We had a lot of guys that can do a lot of stuff, but we really couldn't put it together as a unit. So you'll see games where in the first half we're playing well and we're being games, and then the second half we disappear because we couldn't put it together for a whole 40 minutes. I don't know. I just think it's been tough to watch. I know on my end.
Yeah.
It's been tough to watch, but you have those seasons. I think a lot of lessons are being learned in that locker room this year. And I think that's going to be valuable for, the returning team going into SEC play, going into this, trying to make a push, to make the tournament. All those lessons and all those losses, hopefully they learn some over the course of all that they can take into this SEC tournament, because it's going to be a long, they got to win from day one until the end. Right. And I've been in that situation. So it's very doable. It's just your mindset. You got to approach it with a mindset that you're not going to be denied. And I think if everybody get on that same page and make those sacrifices that, everybody talk about all the time, I think they'll be okay. They really gotta, now is the time where they really gotta sacrifice, because everything is going wrong. So I think they really gotta sacrifice everything in order to kind of turn it around for the SEC tournament. And it's gonna be tough because you got Florida's, you got your Georgia's, you got your Arkansas's, you got a bunch of teams that are playing well.
Right.
But at the end of the day, 0-0. Records 0-0. Nobody care about what you did in the regular season.
Yes.
So
Mario,
if they have it, go ahead.
I was just going to ask. I've got a lot of tournament questions, and this is more of an SEC general question. Of course, you weren't around when NIL was official. we'll just leave it at that. But a lot of teams, a lot of SEC teams, struck out in NIL this past year. Last year, we were talking about double-digit teams from the SEC making the big dance. This year, that's not the case. But this current season, every SEC team spent a ton of money in NIL and basketball, and just about everybody struck out. There were so many misses in NIL and money. And I was thinking, and you'll know more about this than I do, and this is why I'm asking the question. Does it take a season or two to gel? I mean, I know it's very rare for someone to come in and they're just like instant offense, instant defense. They gel immediately. They're part of the team. They got everyone's timing. Like, I know that doesn't exist, or it's extremely rare. But what's going on with the SEC as a whole? Because the SEC, a lot of teams spent more than $20 million, or some teams that spend over $40 million in NIL money, and they're not doing too good. Your thoughts on all these new players coming in with these NIL deals, and the SEC got much worse, although they spent tons more this season?
I think for me, and this is my opinion, and I said it before the NIL even took place, that if they didn't ever cap anything, it was going to ruin the entirety of college basketball, because you have schools like your smaller schools who, when you trying to compete in college basketball, it's tough already to compete with just your normal stuff. Now you're adding money where we know small schools are not going to get money, not too much. So they're going to be eliminated. I just think I want to try to put this without sounding like a hater, I guess you want to say. I want to put this as clean as possible. I think if you don't put a cap on that NIL money, you might as well eliminate NCAA and call it professional basketball and just get away from the whole school situation, because schools don't matter no more.
Right.
Schools don't matter. I think as a player, to be a basketball player in today's world and to say, yeah, I'm going to the University of Mississippi State, that don't matter no more. I don't know, man. I just think it's one of those slippery slopes that we'll never be able to get a hold of, because it wasn't done right from the beginning. As you see, everybody is learning each and every month with this NIL thing. So it's a learning process for everybody, and nobody have no blueprint. Nobody have no ways of knowing how to do it. They're just doing it, and whatever falls from it, they're taking the good, eliminating the bad, and carrying that over to the next month. So every month is like, okay, what's going to happen in the NIL? I don't know, man. I just think that part of college basketball has ruined it. Ruined it for schools, especially schools like, not to say we're not a big school, but we're not a huge basketball SEC school. Right. And when you add in the NIL, you know, I know, everybody else knowing that Mississippi area knows, when you start trying to compete with schools and NIL, Mississippi State, and I'm not trying to talk bad about it, but we're not going to compete with your Dukes and your North Carolinas when it comes to the NIL. No. We're going to lose that every single time.
But who is, right?
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, man. I just think we have to put a cap on it, and it have to be slots. If you're going to say we're going to get paid, just like the NBA, they have slots. I don't care how good you are. You can get drafted in the first round, first pick, you're going to fall in that slot. You can be the best player to ever touch a basketball. You have to have some kind of control over it in order to have order in the room. Right. You can't have chaos and expect good things to come out of it. That's what we're running in right now. Chaos, complete chaos.
Right.
You know, Mario, let me throw this out at you. I'm just going to go through the seeds real quick, and I'm just going to read the left side of the bracket, teams that'll be playing here on Wednesday. But number 16, LSU, spent money. Number 9, Kentucky, spent a ton of money. Yeah. Number 13, Mississippi State, rumored to spend over $20 million. Kentucky spent over roughly $40 million. Auburn spent a ton of money. They were in the high 30s, rumor is. They're at number 12. Ole Miss spent money somewhere around on the 20 million mark. They're number 15. Number 10, Texas. They spent a ton of money. You look at South Carolina.
Yeah.
They spent a good bit of money. Oklahoma, once again, there was rumor they'd spent around over $20 million. These teams spent a ton of money this year, a ton.
And got nothing on their
And
investment.
they're playing on the first day of the tournament.
Hey, look,
So,
what that shows me, I don't mean to cut you off. What that shows me is you can't buy your wins. Nobody work anymore.
Nope.
I know this. I know this. I watch sports every single day. I coach. Nobody play the game anymore. That's why you have NIL. That's why you have a guy that does good at one place, and then the next year we don't know where he's gonna be.
Right.
Because he's chasing money. He ain't chasing the game. He ain't chasing a better situation so he can show you what he been doing the previous year. He's chasing money. Like,
Right.
I think what they have done to the game is ruined college basketball. I don't really care if anybody think I know what I'm talking about. I'm telling you exactly what I see. The game of college basketball is being ruined by NIL. And yes, we pushed for it when I was in school, but we wasn't pushing for this.
Right.
We wasn't pushing for a situation where it's out of control. You have kids that are graduating and leaving school early, coming back to play college basketball.
I
That look
know.
like me. That look like me with my. I got another year. Can I come back and play? I'm just
Right.
thinking. You know, would that be fair to an 18-year-old kid that a 44-year-old guy that has eligibility? It wouldn't be. It wouldn't be wrong because I fall right under the rules. But
Right.
it don't make sense. It don't make sense that we allow that and then get mad when we allow it to happen.
Right.
I don't know. I just think we have to get it under control. If we keep talking about, hey, we have to get this game back to where it used to be, you have to get that cap on it, get that NIL under control, put a cap on it.
Right. Now, Mario, I do want to ask you, talking about the SEC tournament, talk about what that is like when you prepare as a player to get ready to play in the SEC tournament.
And I think whenever you're playing in the SEC tournament, I think you can never be prepared for it because anything can happen at any given time in the SEC. As we know, I've been in that situation twice, well, 3 times actually. Back to back, we went to the SEC finals, and it's each time was different. Like the time we won it, we had we went through an Alabama team, a Florida team, and an LSU team. I think that year that was really tough. That I think each one of those teams beat us during the season that year. I just think when you come into that SEC tournament, it's a little bit of luck. I think it's a whole lot of what you've done all year, whether it was good or bad. You have to play with some of that in that SEC tournament because each and every last game is like grinded out. That's why I think I think our team will be okay. If everybody, I like them. I like them. I really, really like them. I just think a lot of the guys have to just really sit back and say, hey, stop grinding that axe. We already done grinded it down to the nub. Now, what do we have to lose now? Let's just try it the other way now. Let's try it the other way and see what happens. I think if they go out there with no cares, I think they'll do really good in that SEC tournament.
Mario, I got a quick story and question with the story. DeJuan Wagner played University of Memphis, phenomenal player. He was the 6th overall pick in the first round to the Cleveland Cavaliers in, I believe, 2001. And DeJuan Wagner had some injuries, but they just said he got paid and he just kind of disappeared. Like he wasn't working hard. He wasn't putting in the work. Now, he did have some injuries. He did have some health issues, had some colon issues and things. But they said he wasn't working hard. And that kind of goes along with some of the things that you've said this morning about some of these guys that they're good at one school the year before. The next year, we don't know where they are. A lot of these guys in the SEC this year, you can pick any roster in the SEC that they had a guy or 2 or 3 who were excellent out of school before, stopped before, and they didn't really do much this year. Is it, what can we say or speculate? I don't even want to use the word speculate. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, kids are all conference at some other place. They come to the SEC, they get paid a hefty amount, and they're just non-existent.
Hey, what these athletes don't understand, and they don't have to like it coming from me, but it's the truth. Every single time you go to a new school, you're starting over, whether you want to believe it or not. You don't have to understand it, but every single time you can have a magnificent year at Mississippi State, right? If I pick up all my things and go and transfer to LSU, I'm starting over. Nobody cares about what you did last year. You're starting over with a whole new group, a whole new coaching staff. You're learning a whole new system, and you're trying to figure it out a whole different year. The sooner these athletes figure that out, the better off they'll be to stay where they are. And just learn one system, figure it out. If once you build your base, why break your base and go somewhere else? It don't make sense to me. It don't make sense to me. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me to build yourself up for a whole year as an athlete to only pour everything out of the cup that you just filled up in that same cup and start over. It don't make sense.
So Mario, go ahead, Heath. Sorry.
Well, I was just going to say, when you look at someone like Josh Hubbard, had a great season last year. He got offered a lot of money. Kentucky was throwing tons of money at him to get in the portal. He chose to come back to Mississippi State. It didn't work out. Now, he's had a great year. I mean, when you're throwing it up, but have you ever been in that situation where you're having a phenomenal year, but you're just on a really bad team? What goes through your mind during that? Like, I put up 40 whatever points and we still lost. What goes through your mind during those times?
I just think a lot of things go through your mind. I've been watching the team all year. They had some great moments. They had some really tough moments. I just think, man, right now is one of those, they're being battle tested right now.
Right.
Only thing we have, you got to think about it as fans, the only thing we've seen is them win games and go to the tournament. So we haven't experienced this part. Just think about it for a second. Only thing we experience is tournaments and wins and going and doing the good stuff. So now we get to feel the other side. And this is the side nobody want to feel, but this is the side that's necessary to success. You have to lose. You have to go through the trenches. You have to go through these moments in order to know how to deal with it and to know how to get through that wall once you get there. If you never been through any battles and never been in any fights, how are you going to know how to battle once it's time to battle?
Right.
So Mario, you grew up just south of Tuscaloosa in a place called Livingston, Alabama. Growing up in Livingston, how did being raised in Livingston shape your approach to basketball and competition?
I got to correct you. I grew up in York.
Okay.
I was born in Livingston. Livingston.
Okay.
But all the same, it's all close. Growing up in that small area, I just think, man, for me, early on, it was about finding something to do, whether it was sports, whether it was whatever it was. I think I told you guys early on in another interview, I didn't pick basketball. Basketball kind of picked me.
Gotcha.
I was a football dude. Couldn't tell me I wasn't going to be playing on Sundays. I wanted to play football. I even tried to play when I was at state. This is something a lot of people don't know. I tried to play.
Rumor, I never believed it.
Yes, I tried to play. I tried to play. Like, I wanted to play. Because like I said, I was introduced to football first. That was my first real, I think that was the first time Well, actually, that was the second time I actually was part of a team setting. So I fell in love with that whole team, being part of a team and bringing what I do to a team to try to help fulfill a situation. So I fell in love with that process, and football was my thing. Man, I played all through high school. Even after I became a McDonald's All-American, I was playing at Sumter County High School.
Right.
Yeah,
What position did you play in football, Mario?
man, I played tight end.
Okay.
I kicked. Yeah, I did a little bit of everything out there, man. I punt. Yeah,
Now, Mario, did you ever get any offers to play football while you were doing so well in basketball?
I don't, I don't, I don't remember. Maybe a small college. I don't remember. I think, man, what kind of changed my mind, I went to a couple of those Alabama games, and then I went to a couple of the Mississippi State games, and seeing how hard those guys was hitting, that changed my whole mind
Right.
about yeah, that kind of changed my mind about really wanting to come across that middle and play some football.
Right.
Oh, I bet. I bet. Looking at oh gosh, who was the quarterback at Arkansas? Played basketball too.
Matt
Matt
Jones.
Matt
Matt Jones. Thank
Jones.
you. I don't know why I went blank on that. Uh, when you see a guy like Matt Jones, who was so deceptively fast, and of course he was an athlete. When you saw a guy like him play football and come to the basketball court, did it make you want to be a two-sport athlete? Did it make you want to shut him down? Did it make you just want to talk both, football and basketball with him? What was it with Matt Jones, if anything, when you saw him play both sports?
Now I got to say, when I first looked at him and they told me he was a starting quarterback and he pretty good at basketball, just by appearance, I was like, ain't no way.
That's what everyone said about
Ain't
him in
no
football
way.
being fast too.
Yeah, I said, ain't no way. Because if you look at him, you'll be like, this dude outrunning everybody. And he pretty good at basketball. Hey, I don't know if you witnessed or got a chance to see Matt really play other than video. Matt Jones pretty good at basketball.
Mm-hmm.
We already know what kind of athlete he was as a football player. But basketball, I remember as a freshman him coming out there and doing some things against us, and I'm like, dude, this is the quarterback. Like, this is the quarterback of the football team. Why are we allowing him to come out here and do this? But yeah, he was pretty good, man.
Right.
Mm.
So, Mario, getting back to your childhood, who in your family pushed you the hardest, and what lesson from them do you still carry?
I think the one person that really, my mom, of course. I think all moms and dads that are in the house are gonna push their kids. I think the one person that was outside of my actual family that was really, really outside of my coaches, of course, that was pushing me and trying to make sure I was on the straight and narrow. It was this guy that was pretty cool, pretty good friends with my grandfather, named Johnny Bond. Um, he was a local superstar in my town. Um, at the time when he played, they didn't have the McDonald's game, but
Right.
he was the first real McDonald's All-American because they didn't have it then. Um, I've heard stories about Johnny Bond, and yeah, he was the real deal. Like he was a real deal, and it just didn't work out for him. But he was one of those guys in college that kind of kept me on the straight and narrow because he was the one that told me his story and explain me his story about how he messed up his opportunity, and he didn't want me to mess up my opportunity. So me and him became close through his, kind of through his situation that he went through, and he was watching me go through mine, and he didn't want me to blow my opportunity or mess my opportunity up. So me and him grew a real close relationship through my time at state.
Now, Mario, during that time of you getting to Mississippi State, there was another team that was really red hot, and that, of course, is Mark Godfrey and the Alabama Crimson Tide. How close were you to becoming a Crimson Tide rather than a Mississippi State Bulldog?
Oh, it was super close. I think, I think if you had that, if you had asked me then if I was going anywhere else, I would have told you no. I think being kid, being kids in those areas, wherever you grew up, whatever state, you always wanted to go to that school in that state.
Right.
And for me, Alabama was always at the top of the list, and then you had Auburn and you had UAB. That
Mhm.
always was my top three. I didn't care who came along. It was going at the end of the day, it was going to be those three, and I knew that. Um, I just haven't. I don't know, man. I think I committed because a lot happened for me early on, real quick. So I wanted to take that pressure off myself of having to go through the process while I was doing the plan and getting ranked. I wanted to eliminate one of them so I could focus. Right. I wanted to
Mhm.
focus on the basketball part. So I think that's why I committed so early. I think I committed like starting my sophomore year or something. I don't know.
Mhm.
It was crazy. Junior year or something. It was something crazy. But
Right.
I just wanted to focus on I just wanted to focus on basketball. So I committed early and then, you know, just focus on basketball. And then once I got done with high school basketball, that's when I kind of got my gist of learning the game of college and trying to figure out where I fit in this college world. And I think once I figured that out, um, my skill set and what I brought to the table didn't align with what Alabama had at the time.
Okay.
So I had to take a detour. Um, and I think my detour was a little bit more of the way I wanted to do things. I think people, like I said, people don't really know exactly what happened with that whole thing. My recruiting was crazy. Man, my recruiting was super crazy. Alabama came in early. Being an Alabama kid, I committed right away because, like I told you, I always wanted to go there. But I
Mhm.
went through the whole process of being recruited. I didn't even go on any visits. No visits. None. No official visits. That go to tell you I had already made my mind up of where I was going.
Right. Do you regret
So
that, Mario?
no, not
Okay.
at all. Not at all. I think all you do is I think when it's good to get that experience, but I think all you do is create more problems for yourself as an athlete.
Right.
You got to think about it. If I go to a school and I find my spot, right, and it's something I like, and I haven't been to all my visits, I get to redo that again and rejog everything that I just liked about a situation I was in. So I don't know. I mean, to each his own, I guess. For me, I didn't. I never cared about that stuff. I just
Right.
wanted to find something that works for me, somebody who wanted me, and I always said that I always wanted a school who wanted me, that I felt like who needed me and who wanted me.
Right.
I think at the time, I'm not gonna say they didn't want me. I just think they needed me because they needed to stack that roster with players because of the era of what they had, and they had to restock the refrigerator. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Yes.
I feel like I was just a restocking piece at the time. Not, I mean, I could be wrong, but if you look at all the bigs that was coming in, that was already there before I got there.
Yeah.
You had three bigs that was playing already: Irvin Dudley, Sam Haggins. See, people forget about Sam Haggins for Marcy Hatch.
Right.
Um, Kenny Walker was already there. That's three proven guys. Not to say I'm not going to outplay them, but I got to go in there and compete with the guys that already have a year or two in the SEC. I didn't
Mhm.
want that. I wanted a fresh start. I wanted somebody who actually wanted me, and that's why I told y'all, I when I backed out of my commitment, I said the first team that called, that's where I'm going. If it's within an hour, that's where I'm going. That's how I ended up in Mississippi State.
Wow. Well, Mario, looking back at all of that in your playing days, because I want to guess that, and I could have looked this up, but I'm pretty sure I already know the answer. The SEC tournaments were either Atlanta or New Orleans. You probably didn't get to play in Nashville. Playing
No,
in those two arenas, because the Georgia Dome's huge, the Superdome is huge. Playing in a dome is a little bit different. It takes you a little bit to adjust to shoot. But I've always been fascinated by this, and it's still happening in Bridgestone Arena, which is not a dome; it's an arena. But the teams that get to play early in the tournament, the teams that get the worst record, they got to play first, and they didn't get a bye. They have an advantage, especially there at the beginning of the game, if not the first half. After you get a game under your belt and you get a win, it just seems like they do so much better than the team that hasn't played yet. And the team that hasn't played yet has not adjusted to shooting in that arena. Talk about that. Talk about how it's different as shooting in a coliseum compared to a dome. Because I heard, like, man, it takes a while to adjust. And they even said, and I've asked several basketball players like this question. They said shooting in high school, it takes a little bit to adjust from when you go from high school to college when you play in a coliseum, because the
yeah,
backboard and the depth perception and everything. But once you find your stroke, you got it. But it changes once you go to like a dome or a massive, massive arena. So with that, these teams that are playing on the first day of the tournament and they win, they have an advantage going against the team that got a bye. And we see that in the SEC tournament every single year. Talk about that. What is so different? And is it more for the outside guys than the inside guys because you guys are closer to the glass?
I think it's for everybody. I think as an athlete, we understand it as athletes. I think what fans don't understand, that space between that hoop, the back of that hoop, and the next wall, it messes with some athletes if they
Yeah.
can't make that adjustment. I know for me, it was an adjustment when we played that SEC tournament in the Georgia Dome. Because you got to think about it, that arena seats, I don't know, 100,000 people at the
Mm-hmm.
time. I don't know. All I know, they shut off a half of the arena to have the SEC tournament. That's how big it was. So trying to adjust and trying to figure out, okay, jump shots off, this, man, it was an adjustment, but it takes a lot of, like, I don't know, just getting in there, shooting, getting the feel of the area.
Right.
I think it helps you out once they pack people behind there because you got a solid background that can kind of help you feel things out.
I
don't know though.
Do you have an advantage when you play on day one and you win, and the team that you're playing had a bye the day before and they haven't played in that arena, although you have played one day in it and you got kind of your depth perception, your stroke, with the background and everything? Do you feel like you have an advantage? Is it talked about? Well, what's that situation?
It's funny you said that because I want to say our situation was like that the year we won it. We played a lot. I think we played all but one day when we won the SEC. Maybe 2 days. I don't know. Maybe. I think we played all but one day.
Mm-hmm.
But it was tough. I think when we first got into it, we just wanted to fill out the arena. So we made sure everything we did was layup. Let's get used to the area before we start shooting.
Right.
I just think when you get in them bigger arenas, the lighting changes because now you gotta have lights that shine a little further and a little bit brighter. I do remember in Atlanta they did have a light on that side in front of our bench that was in the corner, and man, if you were standing in front of our bench facing, you couldn't see anything that was going on. But they had to have it certain ways in that arena for football, and I think, were they playing baseball at the time in there?
No,
I
I
think
don't
so.
think.
No, they wasn't. It was just football, right?
Right.
football. So yeah, they had that for football. So man, the lighting in there was a little bit crazy when we played that SEC tournament in there, but we figured it out. I mean, we wasn't a jump shot shooting team anyway.
Right.
I just think it kind of worked out for us being that we was a team that everything we did was inside out. We didn't rely on shooting jump shots. So
Another thing fans always say, Mario, when it comes to the tournament, and I always laugh at this. You can put it to bed right here. It's okay if I'm wrong. My wife tells me I'm wrong every day. But, they're like, oh, man, we had to play an extra game. They had an extra day off, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm talking about when you get to like semifinals and finals. Oh, we played an extra game. We played 2 extra games. We're winning. And I'm like, man, you talking about 18 to 20-year-old or 22-year-olds. I was like, they just need a night of rest. I was like, they're not hurt. They're not down. There's not me and you out there doing this. We're out of shape. We had to do that. Yeah, we're going to be tired and worn out. These guys, they have trained all year. They have trained their entire life. They're not that tired. As you meant, they're tired, but they're not that tired. Talk about playing 3 days in a row, 4 days in a row at the SEC tournament. Does it get to you? And are you, quote unquote, just so tired you couldn't win the game?
Oh, we don't. Listen, I'm gonna tell you something. I grew up in an era where if you weren't playing, then you pretty much wasn't wasn't doing that. I played, man, in college. Tim will tell you. I'll tell you. I mean, I'm sure he done said it. We played year round.
Right.
Guys, listen, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I just think this era of basketball, the game, people say the game changed, man. And I'm so tired of hearing that because the game is still the same. Like, we change as players, right? Say that. Don't say the game changed. The game is still the same. We shoot it in a hole, 2 points. You shoot behind the 3-point line, 3 points, right? It's still the same since the guy started it with the leather ball in the peach basket. Still the same. I just think people have to understand that, man, as sooner people stop putting all the crap in the game will be pretty good because we can get back to the basics. We can get back to people learning the game the right way. People out there actually working and learning the game. So it starts, like I said, it starts from when you're young, man. I don't know. I don't have the right answer. I just think it's something that's, a lot of people say, yeah, it's born in me. No, you have to work to get to that point. You have to learn how to get to that point. That's just my opinion because I had to do it.
Playing 4 days in a row, you're not tired, and it's just impossible for you to win.
Listen,
thank you for proving me right.
I think this new basketball world has breeded soft athletes. I'm gonna be honest with you. And I coach in this era, right? I just think this new way of basketball have breeded softer athletes. And if you don't believe me, just look. They have load management. What is that?
Yep. Load management. Like, oh, we got to save his legs. He's played too many minutes. We got to save his legs. He'll be a better shooter, better ball handler.
Come on, man.
Blah, blah.
Come on, man.
Right.
Like I said, man, I just think we can't. We always say we want the game to get better, but we're not holding these guys. We're not holding these guys accountable like our feet was held to the fire as athletes. It beats your body up. Nobody want that, but you also want people to pay you millions of dollars. You also want people to believe in you that you got what it takes to get to the next level when you're a hooper.
Right.
I don't know. I just know me. I did it the wrong way, and I did it the hard way. And I think when you have everything placed at your feet and hands as an athlete, you have nothing to complain about. You have nothing to say about nothing. The work should be a lot more better. I don't even know if those words go together, but it sounds like it should. Hey, it sounds like it should in this situation. But I think if they got all this stuff at their feet and hands, I think they should. The game should be way better than it. The game nowadays should be way better than it was 20
Yeah.
years ago. Why
Yeah.
are we searching? Why are we trying to search? We're saying, yeah, it's getting back to like it used to be. If it's evolved, remember?
Right.
If it's evolved, why are we trying to get back? I don't know.
Mario, these legends of Michael Jordan, Kobe, and Larry Bird, they keep growing bigger and bigger every year. And I love hearing those old stories. But, Larry Bird, everyone knew that he used to run 3 to 5 miles every day, even on game days. He would wake up, run 3 to 5 miles in the concourse of an arena that they were playing in. And then when I hear things like, oh, load management, his workload has just been too much here recently. And I immediately laugh because I was like, I guarantee you he didn't run 3 to 5 miles this morning in the concourse like Larry Bird used to do. And I'm with you on this. We've seen this in baseball about, pitchers the next day should long toss, do their arms. And you got this new thinking that's been going on now for a good, 15 years. Like, long toss is terrible. We shouldn't do this. And I was like, but some of these guys had much longer careers than these guys coming through now. And I see both sides of the coin. I see both benefits. I see both things that are disadvantages. I see it. With this whole load management, and I think it's garbage, but I won't say it's garbage in this sentence. With this load management compared to what you guys used to do, compared to what Larry Bird used to do, running 3 to 5 miles every day, especially on game day, what do you think is the right thing currently? Because I get load management. I get it. You're saving their legs. So they'll be fresh for the game. But I also see the softness in the game. Your thoughts on this? How do we fix it?
I don't think nobody can fix it. I just think it's one of those things where it's an adjustment. You have to adjust to the situation. Yeah, you want to be able to save an athlete, but I think they're trying to make it it's too soft. I think it's too soft. I think in order to I remember being an athlete, right? I became the type of athlete I was because of all my faults, all my failures, all the things I went through workouts, through burnout sessions, through taking my legs away and beating down my body and then figuring out that, okay, I still got some more in the tank. That's why you'll get a guy will play 29 minutes and he'll be dead tired. And you're like, dude, you've been playing your whole entire life. You can't play more than 31 minutes? I don't understand it. I would never understand it. I would never, and maybe I'm biased when it comes to this, but I was an athlete, so I can be that way. I think load management is good if a player is coming off an injury.
Right.
If ain't nothing wrong with you, what are we load managing you for? We pay you millions of dollars. This is your job. You are an athlete. Go play ball. Listen, I'm going to tell you something, man. I played 15 years overseas, man. It wasn't no load management. I will fly over on a Friday, get there Sunday, have a game on Monday when I get off that plane. Bro, it wasn't no load management. It wasn't no resting. It wasn't no, hey, you're sick today? I remember playing fresh off IV bags, with the flu. Like, sick. I know several other players. We didn't have that luxury of just sitting around waiting till we feel like, oh, okay, today I'm going to be the super athlete. I just think, man, we have made it real feasible for athletes to be extra lazy.
Right.
That's all. That's all.
So, Mario, let's go to your Mississippi State career and talk about your college clutch moment. Tell us about the first 3-point attempt you took at Mississippi State, which became the game winner against Kentucky there in 2002. What was going through your head before and after that shot went up?
And Mario, before you answer that, I was at that game as a young reporter. You guys got down something like what, 18-0, 21-0, 24-0. So it was some crazy stupid amount.
It was
you guys
20.
came back and won that game.
it was crazy because it was like 25-3 or something like that. I
I
don't know.
remember it was super good.
We was getting killed, man. It was bad. It was, but it wasn't anything they were doing. It was like us. We was turning it over, handing it to them, trying to make passes. So we knew we can beat them. We were at that time, we were the only team that can match up with Kentucky
Right.
player for player. And I think that year, Mississippi State was the only team that Kentucky was scared of. I mean, I can say it now that I'm done. I mean, now that I won the SEC championship.
Right.
I think that year they were scared of us because we were deep. You think about that team, we could go 3 deep. Any position. Think about it. We can go 3 deep in any position, and Kentucky was that way. So when they would go 3 deep, we would go 3 deep. So that's why all those games that year, Kentucky was killing everybody that year but us. 5, 2 points here, 3 points here. Yeah. I'm still mad. I'm still mad because I should have 2 SEC championships.
Right.
So I still feel like they. Walk
us through that shot of the 3-pointer, please.
Okay, I'm sorry. I get off track.
You're fine, dude.
But yeah, man, it's that 3-point shot. That 3-point shot, bro. I just think, man, it wasn't designed for me. Definitely, you can tell by my expression after I hit it. It wasn't designed for me. It was supposed to go to Timmy. Z got stuck on the side. I think Tim got caught under the basket, and I knew when I took the ball, I wasn't even supposed to take the ball out. Michael Gola was supposed to take it out, not Michael Gola. One of them guards. One of them was supposed to take it out. I took it out knowing that okay, we got a few seconds. I'm a trail. We had already been working on it all year. Me and Tim and Z on the trail 3. So I said, "Oh, this is a perfect moment. I know they ain't gonna be expecting me to shoot a 3." So I kind of took the ball out, and if you look in the video, I kind of do like a little stutter step just to let him run on back because I knew he was gonna run straight to the paint. I had been running all night from rim to rim, so I knew he was gonna run straight to the paint. I kind of lagged behind, set like a little butt screen for Z to come around, and he got stuck. I was at the top of the key. He kicked that thing to me. I ain't hesitate. I just let it go. Everybody in the gym probably was like, "No."
That's exactly. Everyone was like, "No. I am serious."
I know.
Yeah. 15,000 people were all saying, "No, yes."
Yes,
Yeah,
I know. Hey, look, even Stansberry told me, he was like, "Man, when you took that shot, I was like, what the hell are you doing?" But he didn't have no clue though. He didn't have no clue that Tim and Z had already been taking me all year to work on that because they seen that there was one part of my game that I needed to have because all the bigs were starting to shoot jump shots and show that they can shoot. Not that I couldn't shoot, but it was just something to add to my game.
Yeah. Do you remember what Rick Stansberry said to Jack Crystal? Very first thing he said, Jack Crystal was like, Coach, what about that last shot? And Rick Stansberry, because his voice was just shot after every game, you couldn't ever hear his voice. And he was just like, it's exactly how I drew it up. And of course, Jack Crystal laughed for 20 minutes. So did everybody. Hey. We knew it was a joke, Mario. Rick Stansberry wasn't funny, but we knew it was a joke. But yeah, I remember sitting there laughing like, wow, here we are. Because everyone thought like, hey, they've worked on something all year in practice. They've got something coming here. And then we thought it was just kind of made up. But you just proved to me and to everyone listening that you guys had been working on that. You and Z. And who else did you say? Tim?
And Timmy. Yeah.
So you, Timmy, and Z have worked on that all year. Yeah.
Well, see, that's what people didn't understand. People thought that I just showed up that game and started shooting 3.
I did.
Seriously, that's what everybody say. Hey, man, I remember when you hit that 3 against Kentucky. And I'm thinking to myself, man, I've been able to shoot 3s. I just never had to. Like, I always been a player, man. Listen, people always say, yeah, why don't you go out there and show them everything you got? If they can't stop step-ins and stop me from scoring or stop me from
Oh,
It's all right. Mario will come back. Steven, were you watching that game?
I don't know, man. That was 2002.
I was a young reporter. I was covering that game. And when I tell you that when he went to go take that shot, everybody in the arena was like, no, 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 no. Like there was disbelief, like, please don't let this happen. Like, why are we doing this? Like, this will never work. Like everything, those no's that you heard were just blowing people's mind. Like they couldn't believe what they were seeing. And then he drained it. I can't remember if he banked it in. I can't remember if it was all net, but I remember he nailed it. And yeah, because I remember when he let it go, I looked at the clock briefly and I looked to see who was going to be there to rebound. And when I looked at the clock, I was like, that's the last shot. And I was just looking to see, but then looked back up and saw it go in. And of course, the buzzer rang when the ball was in midair. And so, yeah, crazy situation. As we wait on Mario Austin to come back and join us, Super Mario has been wonderful. He's joined us several times. He usually chimes in during the show, but Steven is now back. Oh, Steven, you got two names up right now.
Dude, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if you can hear me. It's my stupid internet. For some reason, Spectrum went out. I apologize about that, especially if y'all froze over on Facebook or anywhere else. I apologize. It was my internet that kicked off there. So we do apologize, but we are awaiting Mr. Mario Austin to come back and potentially. He may have lost battery on his phone. I'm about to text him right now and see what's ongoing. So that is why I will be distracted looking at my phone as I try to find out what happened to our guest.
Steven, I'm going to quickly go through the bracket. Of course,
Okay.
SEC tournament starts Wednesday.
Yep, tomorrow.
Yes. And first game is at 11:30.
Mm-hmm.
And so game one has last place LSU taking on the $40 million roster of Kentucky, who is the 9 seed. So you got the 9 seed Kentucky Wildcats, 16 seed LSU Tigers. Steven, there is so much pressure on this Kentucky team.
Yes.
You see an upset even happening with LSU and Kentucky. I personally don't, but do you see any kind of pathway that LSU could upset Kentucky in this?
I do. I really don't think because the Kentucky fans.
They're
And
torn
this,
apart.
look, this is just my opinion. I don't like compare. You don't like comparing apples to oranges, but I kind of do. The Pope situation at Kentucky reminds me so much of the Brian Harsin situation down at Auburn because
That's
from
excellent.
day one they never liked the Pope hire because they were all like, "Who? Who is this guy? He's coming from BYU? Who?" I mean, dude, if you look at the Facebook posts, and I'm in a bunch of Kentucky groups because of this show, they have not liked Pope since Calipari left them. So this eerily reminds me of the Brian Harsin situation that the fans never gave Pope a chance there in Lexington.
Well, if you remember correctly, so many Kentucky fans wanted Calipari fired.
Yeah.
And I think Calipari was dragging his feet with Arkansas, hoping to get fired so he'd get a little bit of buyout money, and then he could go to Arkansas. And once word broke that, Arkansas had lined up and this and that, Kentucky wisely, give Mitch Barnhart tip of the cap. And Mitch Barnhart, the athletic director, getting ready to retire here shortly. But Mitch Barnhart was like, nope, he's going to leave us anyway, and we're going this. It's just like that Auburn situation with Gus Malzahn and Brian Harsin. When you lost the Gus bus, and you hired Brian Harsin. Brian Harsin, dang good football coach, but
But he
you
didn't
can't
fit.
coach that way in the SEC.
Right. He just
Brian
didn't fit.
Brian Harsin made a great living and will continue to make a great living
Right.
of getting the most out of his players and taking undervalued players and beating teams that are slightly more talented than you. But when you get to the SEC, you can't take less players and beat teams that are super more talented than you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the difference of why the Harsin thing did not work. Now, but you look at Kentucky, Calipari, and let's admit when he left, he was not running on all cylinders. He wasn't. But it was tons better, and that's the thing that I always tell people, and that's the one thing I don't understand with athletic directors. If you're going to let go of a coach, you know what?
Right.
We're on the Ole Miss 365 network. I'll bring this up. And I'm not trying to break any hearts or make any enemies. When you lose someone like Lane Kiffin, you need to try to go and replace somebody with someone bigger. When Mississippi State, this is a great example. When Mississippi State lost Mike Leach, the next couple of coaches were nowhere close to Mike Leach's caliber.
Mm-hmm.
And you're getting nowhere close to results that Mike Leach would have gotten you. And so that's the thing. If you lose a coach like Lane Kiffin, or if you lose a coach like Gus Malzahn, or you lose a coach like John Calipari, it doesn't matter the sport. If you lose a coach like that,
right,
you've got to go hire a coach like that. And I don't understand why these athletic directors go and get somebody cheap and expect the results to be the same.
Right.
I just don't get it. Don't get it at all.
I want to talk about something that just blows my mind for just a second. You had Tubby Smith at Kentucky.
Great basketball coach, won a national title.
Then you had John Calipari.
Wonderful coach, won a national title.
And then basketball trails off. Kentucky is known for what?
Basketball.
Then you have Mark Stoops come in and kind of resurrect the football program, winning a 10-win season there a couple of years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Did you ever think you would ever hear Kentucky, a baseball school? They are entering the SEC this weekend with a record of 14-2. 14-2, and they are ranked nationally this week at 20th. Did you ever think you would hear the powerhouse of baseball being Kentucky? I did not.
The Bat Cats. John Cohen kind of got things started over there. He's now the athletic director at Auburn.
Right. But, dude, just think about that, man.
Yeah.
Kentucky is known for the round ball, but now they are exceeding expectations on the diamond, not the hardwood.
And Mitch Barnhart, I think you really have to tip your cap to, because he wanted to be something else than just basketball.
Right.
And they did football. But, Stephen, here's an excellent example. Tubby Smith, excellent coach, won a national title. You let him go.
Yes.
And, and you bring in someone like John Calipari. Now, there was a coach in between, if I'm not mistaken. Who was that A&M coach? I see his face. Came from A&M, coach there at Kentucky a little bit. But here's the thing. You let go of a coach and you try to hire another great coach. Let's give Alabama. Let's give Alabama a pat on the back here. You had a coach, Nick Saban, who is considered the greatest of all time. I don't think you'll have many arguments out of that. And who did you hire? You hired a guy that had won on every level and had his team in the national championship game currently.
Right.
And is it going to work at Alabama? Don't know. But I think we can all easily say he's not Nick Saban, but who is?
Right.
You can't hire the next guy. You can't find the next greatest coach of all time. You can't do that. So I tip my cap to Greg Byrne, the athletic director there at
Right.
Alabama. He tried to go hire the next best thing. Did Kentucky try to hire the next best thing in Pope? I would say no. Did Auburn try to hire the next best thing after Gus Malzahn? I would say no.
Right.
And so, and that's just kind of the thing that you got to think about. And I know everyone's excited about Pete Golding and everything at Ole Miss. And, I'm not going to put him in a box and say that the man can't win. I'm not going to say that at all. He's shown that he won a couple of playoff games.
Yes.
He can win. But we can also say he is never going to be labeled the portal king like Lane Kiffin. That's never going to happen.
Right.
He's never going to out Lane Kiffin in the portal ever.
Right.
And this guy's playing at a school just a couple 100 miles away from you in the same conference. That's going to be tough to overcome. It is. Now, can Ole Miss still win at a high level? Yes, absolutely. Can they make the playoff? I don't know.
Right.
And only time will tell. Can they? Yes. Will they? I don't know. No one knows. If we knew, we would all be rich because we'd go bet the farm,
Right.
and sit on fat cash for the rest of our life. But I'm with you, Stephen. Hey, run it down through some of these other games.
Wait a minute.
Yeah,
I
what
have
you got?
something else to add. Alabama basketball. You talk about coaches and the maturity factor of, letting a coach go and then having droughts. You had Wimp Sanderson at Alabama. We talked about Wimp and Sonny yesterday on the show. Then Wimp leaves, is let go, whatever. We won't discuss that. You bring
Maybe
in
slapping the secretary around.
You bring in Mark Godfrey. Mark Godfrey resurrects the program. Then he's let go. And then what happens? You bring in Anthony Grant. Bama basketball goes down. Then you bring in Avery Johnson. Alabama basketball goes down even further. And now you bring in Nate Oates, and the basketball program is starting to go back up and exceed what Wimp and Mark Godfrey both built. So it may be a situation where Kentucky is in a situation where Alabama was in between Godfrey and Oates right now.
Yeah, that's very fair to say. I mean, you can look at Mississippi State.
Yeah. Richard Williams and then Rick Stansbury, and now it's kind of like, nah.
Yeah, you brought in Price. It didn't work out. No one. That's the thing. If you hire a coach that nobody was wanting or looking at, that kind of tells you something.
Right.
And it doesn't mean they're a bad coach. It just means they're not head coaching material.
Right.
I mean, here's a great example. Here's a perfect example. Matt Luke is a phenomenal coach.
Yes.
Matt Luke is not a great head coach.
No.
And
some guys aren't.
Yeah, nobody was running out trying to hire Matt Luke to be head coach. Ole Miss did it. The results weren't good.
Right.
And then they went and got Lane Kiffin. A lot of people wanted him. He had wanted several places. Okay, let's bring him in. Brought him in. It worked out tremendously.
Yeah.
And then instead of going and finding somebody and doing a national search, and I understand the situation, that they felt like we got to do something to keep the program here, blah, blah, blah. But every time that's happened at other schools, I mean, you can look at in your own state there with Ole Miss and Mississippi. Look at State. You lost Mike Leach. You didn't do a national search. You promoted within. It didn't turn out well.
Right.
So, I mean, these situations are popping up all over. And I don't understand why coaches want to go cheap. And I'll tell you who's the worst at it. It's Mississippi State when it comes to football. They have just made horrific decisions.
Right.
And I kind of laugh. And I've had this discussion with State fans before. I was like, look at the head coaches that have worked.
Can't hear you, buddy. I'm sorry.
And you talking to me?
No, I'm talking to Mario.
Okay.
We don't have we got video. We just don't have audio. I don't know what we were just like the first part when we first had him on. We have no audio for
Mm-mm.
Mario.
Mm-mm.
So we may have to scrap the rest of this interview, but hey, we got an hour with him. So I mean that was really good, and I would love to bring him back on at another time to talk about his career overseas because that's where we were getting to.
Yeah, but Stephen, just real quick to run through the rest of first round action that happens tomorrow. LSU, Kentucky, Mississippi State, and Auburn, uh, Ole Miss, and Texas, and then you got South Carolina, Oklahoma. So 16 versus 9. That's LSU 16, Kentucky 9, Mississippi State 13, number 12 Auburn. Auburn fighting for a chance to make the tournament.
Yes.
Number 15 Ole Miss, number 10 Texas, number 14 South Carolina, number 11 Oklahoma. This is maddening, man. It's just maddening, and that's why we call it March Madness. There's so many things going on. That's what I wanted to talk to Mario about.
Right.
Is when you know you're going to make the tournament, you kind of melt in a little bit. Do you rather go into the tournament wanting, knowing that you need to win a game or two to get in, and just kind of see it happening? See, the one thing that if you're a big basketball fan, and if you're a team like Auburn, we have some Auburn people that watch the show.
Right.
You've got to watch bid stealers from other conferences this week.
Right.
You have to. You have to watch some random 4 or 5 seed.
We can see you, we just can't hear you, man. I don't know what the deal is.
Yeah. But you just got to watch these bid stealers. Mario, can you hear us? I guess Mario can't hear us.
Right. Man, I tell you, this is so frustrating. But hey, I mean, at least we had him for an hour.
Yeah. So it'll be fun to see all this happen, Stephen.
Right.
It really will. Stephen, do you want to do a quick post show?
Not today, no, because we've gone an hour and 15 minutes. So I think we're good for today. However, I do want to say that we don't talk politics on this show at all. However, we do have a guest joining us in the morning who was at the White House last Friday for the sit-in roundtable discussion on how we can fix the NIL and the transfer portal with President Trump and over 40 individuals in sports. And she will join us tomorrow morning to talk about that meeting. Heather Dinich is on deck tomorrow morning at 8:15 to join us to talk about that meeting and what everything went down during the meeting at the White House last Friday.
Yeah, we got to look forward to all the fun. Heather is the college football insider when it comes to the selection committee. She is there sitting in most of those conversations with the selection committee. She is the first reporter. If she's not allowed in the room, she's the first reporter there.
Right.
Talking to the folks that come out. She has great relationships with all those people. So Heather has always got the inside track more than anybody on this planet of who's in or out when it comes to the college football playoff. And she got invited to the White House about this NIL deal. And Heather was very candid of all the years of her reporting. She never had on her life bingo card that she has to go to the White House to cover college football.
Yes.
So Heather covered the ACC so in depth. Basketball, she transferred over to football.
Right.
And she married a baseball player and has a wonderful family. So with that, look forward to having Heather on the show. And Stephen, I just hope that I am here for all the fun tomorrow. We had a death in the family. I'm going to be touch and go all week, and hopefully I will be here for the entire week. But we'll find out.
And Heath, hopefully our audience will allow us to talk about the political side of the college athletics tomorrow. No, we're not going to get in depth about who shot John, this and that and the other. But when it comes to college athletics, unfortunately, because of the wild, wild west that it has become, we have to involve the U.S. government.
It's just funny to hear anyone say that. Like, where are we at in college sports right now?
Right.
How did we get here? I know how we got here,
Yes, everybody does.
but this really is insane, man.
Right.
This is just crazy. You know, I've got friends that I grew up with. Their kids. Some of them are fortunate enough to play in college, and you hear these stories, and they're not bad stories, but it's just like, yeah, NIL's crazy. A couple of years ago, a girl that I went to high school with, her dad was one of our football coaches. Her son went off to Stetson to play football. He has transferred back. He went to Stetson because he thought that would be the opportunity to kind of move him up to a Division I school. And, you know, he wants to be at a Power 4 school when it's all said and done. And that's the great thing about the transfer portal that you don't hear. It's like, let me just go prove myself. And once I prove myself, I'm going to move up the ladder and go. And so, but with that being said, when NIL was around, it was like, hey, we need to get as many followers for him on Instagram and TikTok, because that's how he can make more money. It's like, so please go follow him and blah, blah, blah. And they're hoping that, you know, he'd get a deal to sell sunglasses or T-shirts or whatever.
Right.
And it's just crazy.
Yes.
To see what it's become. And, you know, you look at Livy Dunn. I think Livy Dunn is still the gymnast for LSU, who's dating or married to Paul Skeens. I don't know if they're married or not. I don't keep up with them. I don't care to. But she's made more money in NIL than anybody.
Right.
You know, beautiful girl, gymnast. She's got all these makeup companies, all these clothing companies, you know, vitamin companies, you name it. And they are just flooding her to advertising. She's made more money in NIL than anybody.
Right.
I think she was only doing that for like a year, and she still has made more money than anybody. So with that, you know, it's crazy to see all of what NIL has become. It was things like guys like Eli Manning, who had a huge following, guys like you know, maybe a Deuce McAllister, who was big in his state and had a little bit of name regionally, that, you know, hey, they could probably make some money and get by a little bit, have a little extra coin in their pocket. They're the face of the program. You know, they got to have, you know, it's okay for them to have a little extra because they're the face of the program. They have to do the interviews. They have to do the appearances. They have to go to the children's hospital. It's okay. They should make a little bit more. And now it's turned into what we have now, where the third string at the last place team in the SEC is making between 40 and 50 grand a month in football. A third stringer who's not touching the field is making 40 to 50 grand a month, not a year, a month. Yeah. That's what these third string guys are making in the SEC who are not touching the field.
Right.
40 to 50 grand a month. Yes. And so that's where we are now. And this is insane. And Kentucky's spending close to or over $40 million for their basketball roster and not winning. Other schools are spending $20 million on their basketball roster and not winning.
$40 million to finish ninth in the conference.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That's just insane. That's where we are. That's where we are, Stephen. So, you know, I'm a Gen Xer. We believe that the government touches it, whether it be the post office, 401k. The government touches anything, it goes to crap. Look at health insurance. Health insurance was somewhat okay. Government touched it, it went to crap.
Yeah.
So, your government touches it. Social Security, government touched it, went to crap.
Let's hope this is the one thing that it doesn't go to crap, because we really want college athletics, man.
Thank you. So that's what we're worried about, man.
Right.
All of us are worried about. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on, and I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. We just don't want college sports to go to crap.
No.
So
All right. So Heath, Heather Dinich on deck tomorrow. Have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday out there. We did get in a good interview with Mario Austin. You can catch the replay of this on my YouTube channel, the Stingray Network, if you did miss it. And Heath, any final words before we sign off until tomorrow morning?
Mario, if you are watching, we're going to have Coach Godfrey on next week.
Yes.
Would you like to join us? Maybe not next week, but maybe the following week. Maybe we can get Coach Godfrey and you on, and we can talk strictly March Madness and the crazy. I don't know if all the winds have filled because Mario was going to go play for Coach Godfrey, and then at the last second, he left and went to Mississippi State.
Right.
And Mario talked about it here on the interview today. There were 3 established dudes on that staff.
Erwin Dudley was one of them.
Yeah. And so he just wanted to have playing time. So with that being said, Mario, I'd love to have you and Coach Godfrey, and I'd love to hear what you guys say back and forth to each other.
Yes. All right. So Heath, we have Heather Dinich talking about the meeting from last Friday in college athletics tomorrow on the Stingray Show at 8.
You said that wrong, Stephen. Heather Dinich, that was at the White House, who was talking about college football. So
yes.
Who gets invited to the White House to talk college football? Heather Dinich. She'll be on the show tomorrow.
Yeah. All right. So, guys, we will see you then. Have a wonderful Tuesday out there. And Heath, go ahead and say the final thing that you always say, because we're not ending with "we are out."
We are out.
No.
Yes, we are. You did it right then, Stephen.
Right.
No. Sayonara. Good Lord willing, we'll see you tomorrow.
Okay. All right, man. Have a good one, Heath.
Stephen, you do the same, brother.
And hey, thank you to every single person that watched this episode. We enjoy bringing this show to you guys every single morning.
Absolutely. And Stephen, I just want to say to everyone watching, thank you for tuning in. We've got some great basketball shows coming up. We're going to be talking NIL tomorrow. And it's going to be fun. But sadly, my oldest is getting her wisdom teeth cut out, and I'm about to literally walk out the door right now.
Go do it, man. And prayers to her for a speedy recovery.
Thank you. Hey, we will take all the prayers we can get. I believe in the power of prayer. So, Stephen, sayonara. See you tomorrow. Catch you then, brother.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bill Ferguson of South's Finest Meats, the official sponsor of the Stingray Show, has a message for you.
Everything we do here is fresh and custom made, custom to order. I tell people when they come in, if you don't see what you like, ask somebody. We've got the capability to process it, make it. If you want a different blend of hamburger meat, we'll do your brisket blend. We'll do your chuck blend. We'll do your sirloin blend. We do all that right here. We are a butcher shop. That's what we do. So please don't be afraid to ask if you don't see what you like. We can make you any size patty you want. We can make you any amount you want. People call me and say, well, how many patties come in the box? Well, ma'am, how many would you like in a box? You want 12, we'll put 12. You want 25, we'll put 25.
That's just one of the many things that South's Finest Meats has to offer, the official butcher shop of the Stingray Show. It's a new year, and now is the best time to review your insurance policies. With a helpful customer service team here to serve you in Alabama and over in Mississippi for all of your auto, home, life, and business insurance needs, call the Jeff Nee Agency of Alpha Insurance to create a customized plan to protect your family's home and autos. You can stop by his office at 3428 McFarland Boulevard in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, or simply call 205 888-462-8192 or call the number on your screen right there. And remember, with Alpha Insurance, the more you protect it, the more you save. Reach out to the Jeff Nee Agency of Alpha today for all of your auto, home, life, and business insurance needs. For over 100 years, the Bank of Moundville has been a name clients can trust. The Bank of Moundville is more than just a bank. They're your neighbors, your friends, and your community partners. Their unique approach to financial education has always centered around families. They believe that financially strong homes today lay the foundation for a brighter futures for tomorrow's generation. You can call them today at 205-371-2227. Once again, that is 371-2227 to schedule an appointment to build your financial security. The Bank of Moundville is a member FDIC and an equal housing lender.